Here we are in an absolutely remarkable place that became the burial site after the Arab conquest of Egypt around 640 AD. And there are layers and layers of burial places and layers of artistic thought about the nature of burial sites. And there is culture in this place, because as the great religious leaders, the imams or the caliphs, were buried in this place, so too were built places for families or pilgrims to come visit. And as pilgrimages came, so too were built schools for people to study. So this is a site not only of burials, but of madrasas, of mosques, of visiting sites, of places where people lived, even palaces built in this burial site. And it also is a place where we can discover the layer upon layer upon layer of Egyptian history, and specifically Egyptian history after the first Arab conquests. The Prophet Muhammad died in the year 632, and his followers spread Islam beyond any imagining in speed across North Africa, all the way to reach the Iberian Peninsula by the early 700s, and to the east spread throughout Central Asia, Western Asia, and in later centuries to South Asia and Southeast Asia by seafaring Arab navigators and traders. The Islamic world spread throughout all of the old world in that way. And one caliphate followed another caliphate as the center of that great new Islamic world. At the beginning, the first four caliphs to follow the Prophet Muhammad were caliphs of the Rashidun Caliphate. And they were quickly followed by one of the leading families, the clan, the Umayyad Caliphate, with its base in Damascus, Syria. And after a century of the Umayyad rule, they were supplanted or followed by the Abbasid Caliphate with its base in Baghdad. And the Abbasids, of course, were the caliphs that oversaw this remarkable flowering of Islamic knowledge and philosophy and arts, and connectivity of the knowledge of the East from India, and carrying that knowledge and interpreting that knowledge and conveying that knowledge to Europe and to Africa. The Abbasids in Egypt were followed by the Fatimid Caliphate. The Fatimids were a different line of Islam, the Shia line, which had diverged from the main Sunni line of belief over disputes about the succession of the early caliphs. And the Fatimids built much of the Acropolis, and the Fatimids built much of old Cairo, or Fustat, which was the settlement built by the Arab conquerors and the caliphs as their home and base in Egypt. Well, the Fatimids hired powerful soldiers, including one who became known to us for his deep role in history, Salah ad-Din, or as we call him, Saladin, born in Tikrit in today's Iraq, a Kurd who became one of the leading generals of the Islamic world. And in Saladin's time, in the middle of the 12th century, this was already the era of war between Christendom and the Islamic world known as the Crusades. The Crusades began in the year 1095 with the First Crusade, in which the Christian emperor of the East appealed for help to the Pope in Rome, help to provide troops to protect the Eastern Christendom from the growing power of the Turks, and with the idea to recapture the Holy Land from Muslim rule. And of course, many crusades followed, with wars over the succeeding centuries, battling for control over the Holy Land and battling for political and religious dominance in North Africa, in the Eastern Mediterranean, in the Holy Land, in Western Asia. Well, Saladin was one of the great generals of the Crusades, and when Saladin rose in the ranks as a great general under the Fatimids, it was Saladin who succeeded in recapturing the Holy Land and recapturing Jerusalem from the Christian kingdoms that the earlier Crusades had established. And so Christian dominance over the Holy Land fell to Saladin in 1187, and the Third Crusade followed soon after with a call to try to recapture the Holy Land for Christendom once again. And Saladin successfully defended the Holy Land from that yet new crusade. In the meantime, Saladin, who had risen to the ranks of power and military success, also rose to political control of Egypt. He replaced the Fatimid Caliphate with what is called the Ayyubid Caliphate that Saladin and his clan began, and thus began a new phase of rule, and for Saladin a new phase of building in this place, in Al-Kharafa, in the City of the Dead, but especially what I have behind me, this great citadel, this great fortress that Saladin built, showing the might and the power of the Ayyubid Caliphate under Saladin.